evening to all of you who are tuning into tonight's episode. Happy Hump Day, by the way. Tonight's episode of Real Living in Bolingbrook. And for tonight's episode, if you are carefully watching the start of this, you'll notice that I've got a pretty cool background. And you may be wondering, OMG, Bill, are you hanging out poolside? Well, due to virtualness and technology, no, I'm not hanging out poolside. Why? Because I'd be that clumsy fool that would probably knock over my laptop, my webcam, and other gear into the water, and then it'd be the last of this episode. So due to the power of technology, no, this is just a cool virtual background that I'm dropping for tonight's episode. And to give you a tease, there's a reason why I'm doing it this way. And so as I bring in my co-host into tonight's conversation, we're going to light him up. And I'll tell you why. We're going to light him up, and he's going to light it all up because he had a banging weekend, probably the start of a great week. He's got some raving fans that are just like in love with this guy. So these fans of his, let's welcome his fans into the conversation as well, right? The one fan with, like two fists going at it, like, yeah, attaboy, Greg, attaboy. So let's bring him into the conversation. Greg,
hey, Bill, you always have the greatest
club of yours.
What's that?
Did you like that fan club of yours?
That's pretty good. Yeah, those were actually my fans. Yes,
they are your fans. Come on.
Yeah.
Let me tease the audience a little bit, and it has to do with Greg. You had a rocking weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a pretty good weekend. We had a lot of success. I had listed a home, did an open house, and it was just like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it was nonstop people, and made some really good relationships.
Yeah, I remember, I think Saturday, the first of your two open houses the entire weekend, when I texted you, we were trading some texts back and forth, and you said, Bill, I'm exhausted. I got to have a beer.
That's right. And I did.
I don't blame you. You deserved it.
Well, it was not only the open house, and it was a longer open house because I knew it was going to bring in a lot of traffic. Yes. But it was after doing the open house and assisting some buyers with writing contracts and stuff like that. So
yeah. Hey, the business of real estate, when you are a broker working your mojo, you got to work both ends. Seller, buyers. Sometimes you're burning the candle late at night, right? I know that, or early in the morning.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to say this. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your rocking weekend. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
Yeah, rubbing shoulders with you, opening doors when you were not as available because you were busy with other people. Yeah. So I had a great time. time. Yeah. So
it was definitely a great success.
Yeah. So for our audience members, let me show what you just sold so quickly. And if I remember what you kind of told me, you sold it for, what was asking, if not more. So let's bring that puppy up. It is this property, ladies and gentlemen. This property in suburban Bolingbrook, hence the reason why we're doing the episode called Real Living in Bolingbrook. This property that Greg did an open house at the entire weekend, well-deserved beer on Saturday evening.
Yep.
And the fun part of it, Greg, was this property was a doll because it had this swanky pool in the back, and therefore, audience members, in honor of Greg's rocking weekend, his success. That's why I brought in the the virtual background with my pool.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a beautiful home. So that home was on the western part of Bolingbrook. It's an area that kind of borders Naperville. I noticed, and I'm not sure where that website that you got the information on, but it was actually part of the River Bend subdivision. I know that says Cider Creek. But River Bend and Cider Creek, they both go to Indian School Prairie School District 204.
Okay.
Which is what a lot of people want because it's Neuqua High School, Crone Middle School, and Bilta Elementary. So it has a lot of desire in that area.
Yeah. So if I may, like we always do with every episode, we lead off, Greg, with kind of dropping the obvious, which is, hey, I asked the question, hey, Greg, what are the current trends in the market update? I don't know about you, but it seems like to me, the current trends in the market update right now is the business of real estate. When you, my friend, a broker working the mojo, it's defying gravity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you speak to, your listing that you sold, right? It's a move-up property. It's in the 600 range, easily.
Mm-hmm.
How many interested parties did you have come through the 48-hour window?
I would say we had about 60 groups of people. So
I remember
60 families, 50 families, something like that come through.
I remember.
Yeah. And again, I knew it was going to be popular. It was obviously advertised on all the social media as far as like Zillow and Redfin.
Right.
But I also did a ton of marketing on it on my own.
Yeah.
So anytime that a house goes on the market, I like a few days of marketing before the open house, and I put it on paid social media where I advertise it within a 15-mile radius. And I've had probably about 50, 60, 70 buyers click on it, ask questions about it, but I advertise the open house that way as well. So we're able to drive the numbers up pretty good with doing some paid marketing.
Yeah. And by the way, audience members, beyond paid marketing, third-party marketing, let me lean in here. I remember, Greg, you texted me. It was Saturday. I think that was why we texted back and forth. And then you said, "Oh, I'm exhausted. I got to have a couple of beers." And then you texted me. You said, "Bill, remind me to do a TikTok video on Sunday morning." So that's another type of marketing that you do as well, right?
Yep, absolutely. So I do TikTok. I think I put it on Instagram as well and LinkedIn.
Yeah. So audience members, you got to watch some of Greg's content. The raw, genuine kind. TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah.
He's both hilarious. He's genuine and absolutely to the point, educating you as to what the hell you need to do.
Yeah. And that's it. And I'll just say it's at Realtor Greg Sells Homes.
There you go.
Whatever, and that's it. So
yeah. Or better yet, I mean, come on, Greg. Your name is so unique. There's only one and only Greg Vanden Brook. If someone searches for you that way, which is
they're gonna
maybe
find
how,
me.
they'll find you, right?
There's not two Greg Vanden Brooks. Nope, not on this earth.
Not on this earth. There you go. So let's now talk about the clients that you just worked your mojo for. By the way, let's bring your clients up, okay? These clients are just loving you. Look at that smile. Oh my gosh. You're helping them move to their next chapter. So, I mean, what a great week for you. Now, why is it that I brought up those clients? By the way, those are not really his clients. They're just some people that we found to be smiling and they obviously look like they needed to move to their next chapter, which is, of course, what your clients are doing. And so as part of this, Greg, let's talk about the life events, right? That typically motivate sellers to sell now, lean on the right broker, given your marketing mojo, given your hard work, and of course, the things that really matter, the value that you extend to them. And the life events are really, really simple, people. If you are thinking of selling your home in Bolingbrook, near Bolingbrook, or maybe just outside of Bolingbrook, and you're thinking, I kind of like what I'm hearing from this Greg Vanden Brook guy. So let's talk about those live events. Maybe your kids have just graduated, right? We got a lot of friends, and we need to know a lot of those friends where the kids are graduating. You're empty nested. And so, hey, you know, why do I need that big suburban home? That may be one of the reasons why people are selling, just like your clients, correct?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So I always say that when you can have your life event dictate your decision on whether or not you want to buy or sell,
right,
you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
What you shouldn't let drive the decision is what are the values and what are the interest rates.
I know.
Those go like this. Just pay attention to what your life is demanding of you. So if that means that you need another bedroom, it's time to move. If it means downsize, in this case, it was moving out closer to family.
Yeah.
As they were retiring, they want to be closer to family. So
right.
And that's a good way to determine whether or not you want to buy or sell. So I remember when I was talking to him, you know, we were talking about the most prime times to sell real estate.
Okay.
And I remember him saying, you know, I don't care about that. I'm going to decide to sell when I make a decision on moving. You know, doesn't matter if it's putting it on in November or December. Homes still sell during that time. It's more of a matter of letting life dictate where your next move is going to be.
Yeah. So before I pivot to the next conversation point for tonight's episode, I must touch on this. This property you now have sold. I mean, it was priced obviously competitive, if not like spot on.
Yeah.
It was in great moving condition. And by the way, for those of you who kind of wonder, well, what does that mean? Great moving condition. Go back, rewind this video a little bit. If you're watching on demand, you can look up the property address. Sorry, it's already under contract. You cannot buy it now.
Yeah.
But this property was just dressed to the nines. And in case you're wondering if you're a potential seller, you know, what does that mean? I invite you to do this. We'll make it so simple for you toward the end of tonight's episode. Reach out to Greg Vanden Brook. Again, Google search, one and only. He'll talk to you about what great moving condition is. Now, let's pivot to the next conversation point. And that is the art of doing an open house. Greg, you touched on it already. You marketed for your clients the way it needed to be done, right?
Correct. Yes. Right.
Talk to me about this. Why did you do back-to-back, day-to-day open houses for a pretty extended window? What was your reason behind that?
Yeah. So the thing about open houses, it's almost like an art form. You know, you really have to work at it to do a good job. Believe it or not, most realtors don't like to do open houses. They don't. They'll even tell you, they'll say, no, they don't work. I don't like to do them. If they need to do them in order to get the listing, a lot of times they'll farm it out to their friend. Hey, any newbie here want to do an open house? Sit at a house for a couple of hours. And so what happens is they go and they sit there for 2 hours, usually. Average, the normal open house is about 2 hours long.
Right.
And they'll sit there, and I've been to many open houses that the agents are just doing a very poor job, in my opinion, on doing the open house.
Right.
So My strategy was to market as much as I could online. We didn't even allow showings for a couple of days. So I had it active on Wednesday,
Right.
No showings until Saturday because they were, still getting the house ready, right? So that way, then on Saturday, I had all the agents come in and I had all of the buyers come in. So everyone got to look at it. The reason being is if we were to list it on Wednesday, we would probably get an offer in on Wednesday and they would want an answer on Thursday.
True.
Well, we want to go through the open house. We want to get multiple offers. That's our goal, is to get as many offers as possible.
Right.
So a lot of agents don't like doing open houses. I love doing open houses. Marketing is key, but also the way that the open house is set up. Yeah. So usually when I do open houses, I like to have some kind of food, some kind of drink, some kind of music, make it more like a party.
Yeah.
And make it so when they first walk in, I'm handing them information about the house. I'm giving them a description of the house. So a lot of the homes, when I list them, I provide the sellers a free home inspection from my inspector.
Right.
And it's like $500.
Right.
And the home inspector will come in and do a complete home inspection with the whole report saying everything that it's, that's deficient in the home. So when people come in, I tell them, these are some of the things that we found. These are the new items that they put in the house in the last couple of years. And I give them a rundown so they're very clear as to what's going on with the house. But another reason why I let them know that there's we have a slight, cosmetic deficiency over here, a little bit of something going on over here, but, as long as it's no big deal. The reason why I say that is because when the offers start coming in, I don't want to hear about what I just told you was wrong with it later.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but the open house, the secret of an open house is to make it a party.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
And you did.
Yeah. And when people do come in, I collect their information. I have them do a sign in, and then I stay updated with them throughout the process. So when we get multiple offers, everybody that's come through gets a text saying, hey, we now have multiple offers. Highest and best is due by, Thursday or whatever it is.
Right.
So that they all know.
Yeah. You know what I kind of learned from you indirectly while I was hanging out with you at your open house party. What I learned from you is the basic things that humans want, and that is a welcoming conversation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Engaging others as to, hey, what brings you out today? What are you looking for? Why are you looking? And it's amazing. I know between the two of us, over the span of 48 hours, roughly, with the 62 interested parties that came through the property. And if I remember, maybe 10% of that number actually came with their buyer's broker, right?
Yep.
Okay. I remember between the two of us, each day toward the end of the open house, when we would kind of, catch our breath and say, okay, hey, we'll see you tomorrow or whatever. We both kind of talked about, amongst all of those interested parties, the life events that we heard from almost every one of them, such as, like you said, they're moving to be closer to family. They're moving because they've outgrown their other place. We heard that several times, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And then what was funny, Greg, was remember I shared with you, I said, hey, the party, the interested party we saw on Sunday, I whispered in your ear at one point, I said, hey, I remember seeing him yesterday, but he was with someone else. And then you said, yeah, oh yeah, I remember that. Lo and behold, the second day that he came back, he brought in the rest of the family. Remember that?
Yeah.
So what I took away from you, because you're the pro, right? Doing the open house party, is that of engaging people in a conversation, be curious, be interested, so that you can serve them.
Yeah, and one thing I'll tell you, and you already know this, but I'm going to tell the audience this,
All right.
is I'm always looking to improve, and I have a big step up coming to my open houses in the future.
You do?
I do. Yeah, and I won't say what it is, but
Okay.
it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be pretty eye-catching. It's definitely going to set myself apart.
Okay.
And I look forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. All right. So you know what? I'm not going to spill the beans, but I will help you in your tease. So audience members, you heard it from Greg. He's got this idea. He's going to amp up his art of doing an open house. So audience members, who do you know? Maybe it's you. Maybe it is you that's thinking about selling your suburban property, either in Bolingbrook, near Bolingbrook, or just outside of Bolingbrook. And if you're looking to Greg V, as I call you, because that's your email address, by the way, part of it.
Yeah.
If you're looking to Greg V for, hey, I want you to work your mojo doing this open house, selling my home, you heard it from him. Look him up. By the way, we're going to make it so easy for you as we wrap up tonight's episode. So I am so excited to see how you're going to amp up your art of doing the open house. Now, let's wrap up tonight's conversation with this, because we talked about how you help sellers. That's important, right? Let's now pivot to talk about how you can coach and educate how to win as a buyer. Care to lead off with what's the most obvious thing?
I sure do. And, so we had several offers on this house, right?
You did.
I can usually look at the offers and gauge how long that buyer has been in the market to buy a home. And I can also tell when a buyer comes in with no buyer representation, they come in as no agency.
Okay.
I can usually pick those out pretty quick when the offers come in. So the lowest offer that we had on this house came in no agency. So they had no agent representation.
Okay.
They had no real clear strategy on the contract. Like, for example, escalation clauses, we'll do this, we won't do that. No, just a rough contract of what they wanted to buy it for, and that was their highest and best. Their initial offer was their highest and best. Wow. That one was the first to go. Wasn't. Yeah, it just wasn't it was the weakest one out of all of them.
Got it.
Then you have some that are fairly weak, but with agents, and they're just not in the ball. Like, you just haven't been looking at houses too long, have you?
Yeah.
The ones that are winning the contracts are the ones that have been looking for a while, so that they understand what's going on in the marketplace. It is very, very competitive.
It is.
When there are multiple offers, you cannot mess around. You cannot screw around. Yeah. So they come in with very strong offers, and those are the ones that are usually getting. And I know that because I even talked to the agents, and they're like, hey, we've been looking for like a year. We didn't get the last 5 homes. We're all in on this one. And I can tell, they are. Escalation clauses, appraisal gap waivers.
Got it.
A nice amount of down payment, a nice amount of earnest money, all those kinds of things make a big difference. So, so what was your original question? What kind of advice would I give to buyers?
Yeah, to help them win. So I think what you kind of dropped, as if I imagine myself as one of those buyers, is first thing you're kind of saying is work with a broker. You need professional help, right?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So I took that away.
Because most people don't know the first thing about even writing up the contract.
Right.
What dates are important? What contingency dates do I need to meet? So
that's right. Yeah. And so that's very obvious. If I may add into it, what I think I also heard, we talked about it at the very start of our episode. The market right now is defying gravity. Sorry, buyers, you will have to compete. Come on. So here's my advice. I'm going to tweak it from what you've shared with me. Don't come into the party. Don't offer with some low ball offer. You're not going to get considered, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. And then I'll wrap up with, I think, the next piece of advice. You know this already. To help buyers win, make sure you're just pre-approved in the lease, or just get the approval, because at the end of the day, as you've heard from Greg, he got multiple offers. I'm sure, I didn't ask you, but I'm sure you probably looked at all of the offers, and you also looked at, well, how strong is that buyer's lender ability to close, right?
Yeah, some of them came in with pre-qualifications. Some of them came in with approvals,
right?
And some of them came in with a $10,000 guarantee that it's going to close.
Wow, impressive, impressive. Yeah. So there you have it.
So it literally, I think I worked on it for about 3 hours, laying out all the offers, and I have a system, where I have a summary page for each offer, with all the important details. But even laying it all out there, I had to stop and just really think about what offer would I take. It's like, okay, that one's out, but then these are looking really good. This one's got this. So yeah.
So for all of you watching tonight, whether you are thinking of selling in the next 30 to 90 days, whether you are thinking or already in market to buy in the next 30 or 90 days, and if you happen to want to be experiencing what you just see here, how can you get to where you want to go? It's really simple. We're making it so simple for you tonight. All you need to do first is scan the QR code for Greg Vanden Brook. Again, Google search that name, you can't miss them. but we're making it so simple. Just scan the QR code. And along the way, if you are a buyer and you have not committed to the right lender, scan the QR code next to my name. Both Greg and I will work in concert as your team of service providers to help you get to the next chapter, to the next step that you really want. So as we celebrate your win tonight, let's bring up this property that you just absolutely crushed it, got it under contract. Here it goes.
I want to say something real quick before we go. I was so happy to have you there, because how many people did you talk to and explain to them about a bridge loan?
Oh, yeah.
So many people that wanted this home but had a house to sell.
Right.
And you went right into that, explaining that, and that was just awesome.
Yeah, hey, my pleasure. That's the easy part of what I do. But it was fun being at your open house party. By the way, I love how you strategically place the ice chest of cold drinks outside by the pool. I mean, come on, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Well, the next one's going to even be more fun.
That's right.
I got some tricks up my sleeve.
Okay. All right. I love the tease, audience members. You heard it from Greg V. If you are looking to engage him for his services, he's going to unleash his next weapon. Audience members, that's it for tonight. As we celebrate Greg V's win this week, as they say in sports, on to the next one, right, Greg?
Yep, you got
it. All right. So, audience members, until we see each other, you, in the next episode of Real Living in Bolingbrook, 4 weeks out. Greg, enjoy your win. Have a few more beers. And then I will talk to you soon, buddy.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right.